So we've got Velson Company estimates their uncollectible accounts expense is going to be 0.3% of its total sales. So during the current year, they had a sales credit of $2,152,000 before the adjustment of $853. So record the uncollectible accounts expense adjustment on a worksheet. So what we're going to do is this $2,152,000. Just going to multiply that by 0.3%. So notice this is already in a percentage, so it's not 3%, it's 0.3. So that means it's going to be, we multiply that by 0.003. And the estimated adjustment, or the estimated expense is going to be $6,456. So where this is going to go on our worksheet, it's got our allowance for uncollectible accounts. We're going to put that over here in the credit column. $6,456. So that goes in the credit column for the adjustments. And you notice on the example here, there's a gap. You know, that's, you know, if you remember back to your worksheets where the credits are like in the first few lines, and then on the expense accounts, they were on the second page or a lot lower. You know, in the example here, you know, it's line 47. So this little blank space is everything else that was in between. So our uncollectible accounts expense. So if our allowance was in the credit column, then our expense is going to go in the debit column. So we just put 6,456 in our debit column. So that makes, you know, everything's even that way. You know, both columns should equal at the end of the day. So now we've got part 2, journalize the adjusting entry on page 13 of a general journal. Well, that's what your next little section here is, an example of a general journal. So we've got, sorry, shuffling things back and forth. We've got our example of a general journal on this page. I know you guys don't have books yet, but that's how we're going to enter this. So you notice there's a little gap here at the top, so that's going to show some of these missing lines. So we'll put on here the 31st. You know, the first line, uncollectible accounts expense, and then the allowance for uncollectible accounts, and we're just going to put our numbers in the columns just like that. So then we end up with that. So that's what you should have so far. So then the next one, line 3, post the adjusting entries in the general ledger. You know, we haven't messed with ledgers for a while. Remember, the ledgers are the ones where each account has its own ledger page. So that's your example on here. So we've got, for our accounts receivable, we've already got the balance here, so we're not going to do anything with that. Allowance for uncollectible accounts. So we have our allowance for uncollectible accounts. This will be a credit of $64.56. So we're going to put that in our credit section here, credit line. So our previous balance was a credit of $853, and now we've got a new credit, our credit up here for $64.56. So we're going to add these two together to bring our balance up to date for current, to be current. So $64.56, so we got 0, 6 and 3, 9, 5, 10, 14. So our new balance for allowance for uncollectible accounts is $7,309. So now we've got to put in our cross references. So we've got account number 1135. So we'll put that up here in the posting reference. And we posted that to our General Journal 13, General Journal page 13. So for the cross reference, we'll put it G13 right here. So remember, so if we look at the General Journal, we know this has already been posted in the General Ledger for account 1135. But if we're just looking at the ledgers, we can see that this entry is from General Journal page 13. So then if you were doing some kind of audit, you can go back, you can go to the other document to look at that to make sure everything matches up in case there's a mismatch somewhere. So then the next general ledger, we're going to look at the uncollectible accounts expense. So here we've got uncollectible accounts expense up here in the General Journal. So we'll date this December 31st. We have a credit of $64.56. I'm sorry, debit. Debit $64.56. So since that's the first entry, obviously there's no previous balance. So now our new balance for the uncollectible accounts expense is going to be a debit of $64.56. And we'll just do the same thing with our reference numbers. 61, 65. And G13. So that's what you should have so far. So I'll go ahead and do the on your own section, the on your own one too. McCaffrey Industries estimates their uncollectible accounts as 0.4% of the total sales. Total sales of $1,548,000 for the adjustment. So we just do the same thing here. They are $1,548,050. Times 0.004. That's $6,192.20. So we're going to put that up here. Then for our uncollectible accounts expense, just over in the debit column. Yeah. So they just go in the same spots like what they did on the other side. So then for our general journal part, we just have the 2 lines to add. Accounts. So I got those so far for the general journal. Now we're just going to enter those down here on the general ledger. So allowance for uncollectible accounts. Allowance for uncollectible accounts. So credit. And we add our new credit to our credit that was already on the books. For our new balance here. And we've got our account number, so we'll put that up here in our reference. So we've got allowables for uncollectible accounts, allowable for uncollectible accounts. Was a credit of $61.92, so we've got it entered into ledger as a credit, added it to the new credit, or to the credit already on the books, and then just wrote down our reference numbers. Then just repeat for the uncollectible accounts expense. Remember, and that one's a debit. So then our new debit balance, $61.92.20. We've got our account number, 6165. page number G26. Bingo. Can't